Hey, good morning. This is an Elliott Wave intraday update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 being recorded on Tuesday, October the 14th at 8:55 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I wanted to get this quick intraday update, intraday alert out as to what I am seeing here in both the ES and the NQ. Starting on the ES, I'd put this as wave A, which it still is, of that minute wave 4. I marked that as B, which would suggest that we're in the C wave down. And I thought we possibly had already finished wave 1, but as it turns out, we didn't. It ends up being the B wave. And as I'd left, I also had considered and showed this morning, or spoke about it, that this was either the minuet wave B or it was sub-minuet wave A of minuet wave B, and that this would be sub-minuet B. And that's exactly what it's turning out to be. And now we're just kind of powering up. Also, what I'm noticing as well is that at the moment they're bringing volatility back up, even though the markets are moving higher, which normally we would associate with volatility dropping down. But volatility is being pushed higher right now. And the only thing I can think of is that tomorrow must be a vol expiration. Just let me double check and I can see, because we'll notice it. Come on, VIX. And yes, so tomorrow is the VIX expiration. And so that is having, come on, a play here. All right, thank you. All right, so no, I want the chart, There we go. So that's why they're bringing volatility back up because it expires tomorrow morning. And so it was up much higher, actually. Then they started to sell it off as they picked up and started doing the risk on trade. And I'm noticing the risk on trade today likely is kind of big in AMD, which got some decent news. Micron, they might be reversing it or just doing it a little bit different. That got, excuse me, a downgrade. And after all the great news that's been on that one, we saw NVIDIA right up to the opening slide down back to 180, which is kind of interesting, and then kind of start to now coming back. But overall, the NASDAQ, well, the S&P is down and the NASDAQ is down, but the S&P is just really gaining fast here. It was down 20, now it's down 5, 6. And so I just wanted to go over this. Now, what do we have coming back up? Well, here in the S&P, we do have fib resistance, but that is for the B wave, this B wave, and that's at 6707. We've seen before it's had problems getting above it. It spiked above it overnight or yesterday afternoon, late afternoon here in the Globex session. So, but then it got up to 6718. So that would be the ticket if it could break. Then I'm going to be looking for it to kind of finish up the C wave, stick that B wave above it. 6750, 6771. Is that possible today? If they really get it going, why not? They can get close. Technically, all we need to see is wave C of this a little bit larger minuet B just to get above that A wave. And not that they would complete it, but let me just kind of throw up here the 618. There we go. Let's put that 618 out there. And it's 6702. Now that's going to make sense because 6702 held it also. So, but if we can pop and get above that, then we have one more. And I'm just going to put that up there, 786. See what that one looks like there a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to leave it this way because it should get above the A wave. So we should get above the 618. Next up for there, in terms of the B wave, would come up to 882, and that's at 6780. But we've got resistance for the C wave, projected C wave, at 6732, 6750, and 6771. And I think that'll complete it. We'll stick that B above, put the C, and then the minuet B, and still then looking for this downside move. And the reason I'm sticking to that it's still corrective is that these internal waves are a mess. They're not very impulsive in nature. And although this one seemed impulsive, it still can be counted as an ABC. And so it's this is more impulsive. And you're going to expect that in a C wave. This was not. So I'm getting the impulse in the C and it is moving up, and I'm going to consider it a C wave versus a wave three. Because some you might say that this is wave one, this is wave two, and we're now launching in a C wave, a wave three. That is an outside possibility. I'm going to leave it in my alternate file for right now. Okay, let's go over, and let me just say that, oh yeah, that one I do early in the morning. So I do think that it is a B wave, and I think that we still are now playing into vol expiration tomorrow. Certainly, that's being played out in volatility. But also on this one, I think we're just seeing a little bit of action today. But the general thing is that the market still seems to be more downside than upside. Let's go over and take a look at the NASDAQ. It is actually in the exact same pattern, which it should be. And so here we have the A wave down here. Again, still on that 15-minute chart. A wave down here, and then we've got the what I thought could have been the minuet B wave. And as I reported this morning, I thought, well, it's either going to be sub-minuet wave A of minuet B, and then this could be sub-minuet wave B, or it would be the whole B. Well, we got down there. We actually went down and in the NASDAQ filled the gap. Isn't it interesting now, right? The S&P had filled the gap prior to the NASDAQ moving down and doing it. So it's kind of like, it's so interesting that there's traders or algorithms that like they have to go and fill the gap. That was created on Sunday at the start of the Globex session off of that huge sell-off that we had on Friday. Sunday, we gapped higher and then just kept going. So I guess the market needed to go back and complete that pattern by filling the gap and then launching again. That's exactly what it did. So we have now breaking above, at least on the 15-minute chart, getting ready to get stuck maybe a little bit at that 15-minute 200, which is 24,852. I don't think it should give it a massive amount of trouble, but it may bounce around a few times and then eventually get through. Now we have fib resistance 618, and that's for the entire B wave. So I just think it could be resistance, not necessarily doing much more than just preventing a little bit, giving it a little bit of a headache. So that's a 24,921. And then with the C wave, our first, there's more, but the first that I would look at is 0.618, and that's 24,962. Now, again, I'd be looking here for that same thing, not looking for it to be solid resistance, but I think the market can get up there and bonk its head until finally it wants to break. And then once that, then we need to get above 25,048, actually 44, which is that high of the what now I'm marking as a sub-minuet A wave. And then we start to get into our finishing stage here, and that could be 25,112, 25,198, and then we have 882 at 25,250. And if this goes full board to the 100% where wave C equals wave A, which it could do, and it's not breaking above the above where this whole fourth wave started. It's holding underneath. And you notice that I put this ABC. I did get a little bit of comment on it, but understand that what it does is just gives the market the availability or not the green light or anything like that. But if we were doing it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was a zigzag, I would not be looking for the market to go back close to the starting point. And that's kind of, if it gets up to here, it's what happens. Even if it gets up into here, we're back above 25,000. And so it begins to take on a different tone. And I think that we can get up there, it'll be enough, and then we'll start and turn and go back down. Now, same kind of pattern. It looks a little bit more impulsive here. This one not. We filled the gap. All very interesting. ABC down for the B wave. It's still kind of not the best looking. which keeps it more, in my mind, more corrective. And now we have building onto a 5 wave, and we got 1, 2, and now we're into a third. I think we should end higher on the day. Can't say that we'll be out of the negative, but we might. We just might. And then we'll kind of go from there. And that's where I'm going to leave it. We're just going to make this quick. And so the next update will be the daily this afternoon.